but there are risks. And on that note, this presentation is in no way financial advice or solicitation. We are not financial advisors or experts in smart contracts. The crypto space has innate risk. One can lose some or even all their deposits. Please do your due diligence before proceeding. Our team, Carl, Sarah, Mark, and I, we went on a quest to find a passive opportunity where the passive person could earn and win. A builder could have confidence promoting in a program that had potential longevity. We believe we found it, folks. Origins LGNS. This platform is 100% decentralized, no KYC. That means they don't need your name, your home address, your phone number, or your email. You simply connect your digital wallet to a simple staking protocol and begin to earn an amazing token called LGNS. But before we talk about that, let's talk about who they are, what they esteem to do, and their track record. Back in 2021, they started another smart contract called Olympus, and the token was the OHM token. It was very successful. As a matter of fact, till today, that contract is still running. It's showing longevity. In 2024, they started the Origins LGNS smart contract with the token LGNS. They esteemed to build the first anonymous autonomous ecosystem. Well, David, what is that? If you heard of Bitcoin, you realize you need to have a Bitcoin wallet to obtain it. Your Bitcoin wallet has an address. If I have your address, I can see your current balance on the blockchain. I can see everyone you ever sent it to and everyone you received it from since the conception of that wallet. Your business is not your business. They esteem to have your business be your business, for it to be private. They're coming up with the A token. This is a stable token in which you can use it to do transactions, hold the A token as a stable token, send it and receive it, and only you see those transactions. But even more in phase two, they're developing a decentralized bank and a decentralized exchange. Let's talk about phase one, the LGNS token. And it's their flagship product. The reason they developed it was for two reasons. Number one, to build community. They're being very successful with that, as we have over 350,000 wallets and users that is holding this token. Number two, to build liquidity for the whole ecosystem. They're successful there too, as they have a treasury over 400 million and a liquidity pool around 40, close to 50 million. So they're accomplishing their task. Now, let's talk about the token, how you obtain it and how you stake it. It's simple. You take a digital wallet, Token Pocket, MetaMask, you obtain Polygon and DAI. From there, you get your referrals link, you link to the smart contract, and that's where the magic starts. There is where you take your DAI and you convert it one-to-one to LGNS. Let's talk about that for a second. Those two are married to each other. They're paired. So because the value of DAI is $1, the value of LGNS is also $1 as this true value. Now, later, Sarah's going to come and she's going to talk to us about what we have coined the insurance policy within the contract. Hint, hint, it has to do with the pairing, one-to-one. The true value is $1, but the market value is what we pay for it. And right now, that's around $18. And we're going to use that throughout the presentation. So the difference between $18 and the true value is $17. And that goes into this contract to do the amazing things that we're going to talk about today. But sit tight, because there's two other ways that liquidity goes back into the contract, and we're going to talk about those as well. Now that you have it staked, Now that you have your LGNS, rather, you converted from DIE to LGNS, you push a button and it stakes it. When you stake it, you get 0.3% every 8 hours. So the first 8 hours, 0.3%. The next 8 hours, 0.3%. But the amazing thing is that it's compounded from the first time. The third time, you guessed it, 0.3% compounded from the first and second time. What you make tomorrow is more than what you made today, and what you make the next day is more than what you make tomorrow. Now, why do we trust this contract that governs the LGNS token? Well, it's been audited by two reputable companies, Certic and Armor. And when they audited it, when they reviewed it, went through it with a fine-tooth comb, they wanted to make sure that certain things were in place. Number one, that it was renounced. That the originators gave up the right to go in and modify or change things. They were able to confirm that. Check. That they don't have the ability for a rug pull. They were able to confirm that. Check. That there's no expiration. That there's no backdoors. Check, check. So we feel comfortable and we can sleep better at night knowing that. When you stake your LGNS and you earn your 0.3% every 8 hours compounding, at any time you have the ability to take part or all of it back to your wallet. There's no lockup period, folks. So now Sarah's going to come. And Sarah's going to talk to you about what we coin insurance policy within the contract and 4 deposit levels. The first one, 125, and which is the recommended minimum deposit. And we'll talk about why that is later in the presentation. A $500 deposit, a $1,000 deposit, and a $10,000 deposit. So with that, I pass it to you, Sarah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dave. Some powerful information here. Okay, so many of you already know that I'm a stay-at-home mom, and you're going to hear me talk about that often because my babies are my world. So when I look at these programs, I get really excited when I start to see the fiat equivalent dollar amount. However, I'm a realist, and my main objective is to protect the nest, if you will. So I look at things from an angle of dreaming, but also risk versus reward. So what does that mean? The self-proclaimed insurance policy. It asks the question, what is the worst thing that can happen to me? What is the worst case scenario? So here, as you can see on the screen, we have 6.9 LGNS projected out to a 1-year mark. You can see the total US dollar amount is $3,282. That's fantastic. Great return. However, I want you to focus on the number that Carl has highlighted on the screen, the LGNS balance. That's what we're focusing on here. But what does that mean to me? With the self-proclaimed insurance policy and the market value of LGNS unable to go below $1 because it's paired to the DIE, as Dave explained, what this means is with a 6.9 LGNS out to 1 year, I have accrued 182 LGNS. But what that actually means is $182 from a worst case scenario. I only put in 125. So you can see I am clearly still in profit. I am still in the black. If we use an example of a $500 deposit represented by 27 LGNS, you can see $12,844. Numbers are getting bigger. Numbers are getting better. But again, the question is, what is my risk versus reward? You can see here highlighted, I have 714 LGNS. That equates to $714. I only put it in 500. I am still in profit and I am still in the black. Use an example of a $1,000 deposit, 54 LGNS. You can see $25,688, even better than the last. Worst case scenario, though, tells me 1,428 LGNS. You guessed it. That's 1,428 LGNS. I only put in 1,000. I am over $400 in profit in the black. To test this theory, because numbers are pattern and patterns are consistent, let's try a $10,000 deposit. 540 LGNS. I'm really liking that US dollar amount, as I'm sure a lot of you are, $256,889. But again, that's not my question. My question is, what is the worst case scenario? The highlighted number on the screen is 14,289 LGNS, which translates again to $14,289. I only put in $10,000. I am still in the black and I am still in profit. Regardless of what number I enter into this calculator, the pattern will hold strong. So when I looked at this and that light bulb went off and I said, well, risk versus reward for me, this is a no-brainer. So from that, we birthed the self-proclaimed insurance policy. Back to you, Dave.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. So as you can see, the passive side is powerful without telling a single soul because of one element, the power of compounding. Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. But to further prove this point, I want to look at two other things. Number one, what we call the index number and a case study. Let's start with that index number, Carl, please. That number there, 33.33. If you've been on previous Zooms, you notice that it goes up higher and higher every Zoom. That's because if you would have got into this opportunity day one, March 7th of 2024, and bought one LGNS, which would have cost you about $4.50, it would have started compounding that day at 0.3% over and over again on to the 8th of March, the 9th of March, all the way up to today. And the amount of LGNS you would have from the compounding would be 33.33 off of one LGNS. Now, we look at the current balance of 33.33 at today's market value, you would have $599.94 that if you push the button to unstake and send it to your wallet, you would have and die. That's powerful. The next example is a case study. Myself, Sarah, and Mark were looking at this opportunity in December, and Mark's upline, Marcus, told us about a gentleman that he brought in March of 2024. This individual came in and said, I want to be 100% passive and not tell a single soul. He put 16,000 in, he converted it over to LGNS, and he pushed that stake button. We looked at it 9 months later. He hadn't withdrawn or added to it. The market value was $15. So to our surprise, because we figured his deposit would be drastically lower based on the price action, we were wrong. Compounding was more powerful than price action. His balance was 60,000, even with a reduction in the value of the token by over 75%. That's the power of compounding. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, there's even more. Passive side, compounding, powerful. We call it the cake. But there's another element that if you decide to increase by 101 die, your staking position, you're entered into a drawing for free. And this happens numerous times a day, weekly and monthly. It's called a rewards pool. We call it the icing on the cake. And Mark's going to come and tell us about the icing on the cake. To you, Mark.
Wow. Thank you, David. Great job, Sarah. And yes, this is very exciting. And I'll tell you a little bit about a couple of people who have actually won this a little bit after. So we have 3 pools, like Dave said. We have an hourly, a weekly, and a monthly. So just to be clear, under each one, when we show them, the hourly and weekly have certain criteria, okay, to get into the pool. You have to do it at a certain time. It's well written out, and you could see it. And the monthly one, which we'll show you at the end, you can get in there anytime you want, which is a powerful one. So we'll start with the hourly. And right now it's at 11,493. When it hits $20,000, okay, die is a dollar, that pays out. Now, Carl's going to show you the last winners. It picks 10 winners. These are hash IDs. So when you come in with 101 minimum, 101, you can come in with more. You come in with a minimum, and three things happen. Number one, you're purchasing LGNS, and your staking goes up. So that 3.3% every 8 hours goes up as well. Number two, that hash ID for that transaction goes into the pool. So you have a chance to win the pool. And again, as we know, every time you purchase an LGNS, that difference between the dollar and the market price goes into the contract to make it stronger and more secure for us. Now, that's absolutely fantastic in my book. And so that's the hourly. And just a little tip for anybody that does want to get in. Once that hits around 17,000, if you want to get in, that's a safe bet because you got to get in within the last 2 hours. Okay, so that's the magic number now, 17,000. And you do that anywhere between that and 20, and you're in. Next one, we have a weekly. And this one is a $50,000 reward. Now, this one is already done. So anytime it's over 50, you know, it's just gone. This one is growing like crazy. It's unbelievable. So scroll down a little bit and we'll just show that it pays out 30 lucky winners, anywhere from 205 up to 6,660. So that's also good. But the nice one that I love, and everybody that I help to set up their wallet, when they make their deposit, we go right here to the monthly pool. Because if the other ones are not ready, then the monthly, you can come in anytime. And just to give you a little, right now it's at 142, and we are not even halfway through the month. Last month, it was at 246. That was February. That was the closing. And the month before, it was at 116. So you can see the growth is enormous. So now Carl's going to go down and show you the winners. Now, the beauty of this, there's 51 winners. That top one there on the left, the largest deposit of the month, okay, through this doorway, you got to click on that Join Lucky Hash. Carl will show you in a second. He won $99,200. That was the largest deposit of the month. And trust me, there's some people really, working to get that because it's worth it. And then it goes after that 16 and 8, all the way down to the last one was $439, which is very respectable. So they divide, the other 50 divide up 60% of the pool, and the one largest gets the big one 40%. So it's really fun. You can get into it. You can get in anytime you want. And if you want to up your deposit, let's say you want to put in a little more money, then what you can do, you say, okay, I'm going to put another 150 in, whatever you're going to put in. You can go in and say, oh, I'm not just going to deposit it. I want to go to the monthly pool. And I'm going to go in through that doorway, and I'm going to make my deposit there. So my hash goes in there. And at the end of the month, hey, I could have a surprise. Carl's won it 4 times already. Dave won it on his first time, and he has a nice story about that one. And we've had Duerte and a few other people that they're very excited. They come on the call, say, I won. And I've won it multiple times. So it is doable. And, it's all in the luck of the draw. But either way, you're winning because you're upping your deposit and you're securing the whole ecosystem by increasing the treasury. So with that, I'll pass it right back over to you, Dave.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. And Mark's correct. I did win it my very first try. And I want to tell you a little bit about that experience. I had my initial stake. I added 101 DAI to my stake. So I had my stake going. I felt like I already was a winner. And I checked it at the end of the drawing, and I won the drawing, one of the positions, $646 in DAI. Now, I could have taken that by pushing a button straight to my wallet and spent it. But what I decided to do was start a whole new wallet, send it there, stake it into LGNS, and forget about it for a year and have a surprise and look at what it's worth at the end of the year. So take a look at that number and see what potentially I might see when I look at that in a year. At the time that I purchased the LGNS, they were $15 a piece. So that would put me at 43 LGNS to start the stake with. At today's value, that would be $20,450.11 in a year. Remember, this was free moolah. I still got my stake, that's earning, and I had this in addition that I decided to throw into a staking wallet. That's powerful, folks. Now, you might say, David, you told us about the compounding. Now you told us about this rewards pool, and you haven't even gotten to the builder side. How in the world can a smart contract do all these amazing things? Well, we talked already about the true value, $1, and the market value. The difference, as of today's example, would be 18 minus 1. $17 goes back into the contract to do all these amazing things that we talked about. Whenever you withdraw, by pushing a simple unstaking button and converting your LGNS back to DAI and taking it back to your wallet, you pay 5%. That 5% goes back into the contract to do these amazing things we talked about. Lastly, there's something called breakage. And if you've been in these type of opportunities before, you know, as a builder, you have criteria to get the commissions from your downline. If you don't meet some or all of those criteria, you don't get all of the bonuses. That's called breakage because you didn't meet those requirements. Typically, those go up to your upline or back to the owner's pockets. They didn't go into the upline here. And we know this has been renounced, so there's no owners. It goes back into the contract to do all the amazing things that we talked about. That's it for the passive side. In quick review, set up a wallet, connect with your referrer's link, obtain your LGNS, push that simple button of staking, start to earn 0.3% every 8 hours for as long as you want. You always have the opportunity as well to come in